Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Lady J with the Sunday Morning Inspiration Show, talking about all the things that's gone on this past week with the Women Thou Aloof Conference here in Atlanta. What an awesome, awesome time. That deserving applause. Yes, that was a great conference. It was a very life-changing experience. If you've never been to Pastor Bishop Jakes, Bishop Jakes Woman Thou Aloof Conference, you need to make that a priority on your list, because it will empower you and encourage you and change you, and it was just awesome. Bishop Jakes, he opened it up Thursday night talking about the pecking order. Any of my ladies know that went with me, my mother-in-law, which is my pastor, love her, Pastor V from Next Level Worship Center right here in Norcross, Georgia. And my two sister-in-laws, Stephanie and Toya, we had an awesome time. He was talking about the pecking order. The pecking order is, putting your life in order and getting out of the situation in which you're in. He did an example about an egg. When a chicken hatches, is in an egg. And at the time that chicken is forming, the world that it is in right now, it needs that world. It's protected by that world. That world is good for it. But as that chicken continues to grow, in order to get to a point where it's time to hatch, that world in which that chick only knew about is no longer comfortable to that chick. So now that chick has to use its beak to peck out of that shell in which was holding it captive, that once was good for it, but is now have outgrown the world in which it lives in. So he talked about pecking out of that shell, and I know on Thursday night a lot of chicks, as Bishop Jakes called us, that chick standing next to you is now pecking her way out of that shell. She's moving to something different. And when the chick pecked out of the shell, he showed this on the big screen. And when the chick came out, what was funny to me was that the chick was like small. It was wet, and it looked a mess. It really did. But when you think about it in your natural life, when you make a change and you come out of that thing that's no longer comfortable to you to move to something that's bigger than where you are right now, you look a mess, because you don't know how to look coming into a new world until you get there and be exposed to something else he talked about. Because pecking order had each letter had a meaning to it. P was position, E was exposure, C was courage, and K was knowledge. And he pecked your way through the egg, the shell in which you are under. So it was just a blessing. It was a great time. Bishop Jakes always shuts it down. And he was just phenomenal. His wife, First Lady Sarita, she is just such a wonderful woman, a great inspiration to see a couple, 30 years of marriage, still in love. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful time. The daughter was there, Sarah. She's just blossoming. She's such an awesome young lady. I mean, it was just a great experience. Another thing we had at the Women Thou Aloof Conference was, I'm just expressing to all the women that didn't have the chance to go, I just want to, I'm not doing it any justice. I'm just talking about what I learned. Hopefully, if you following me on Facebook, you saw all the stuff that I posted, because I had to post it at one time. It was so much built up. But it was a thing called Girl Talk. And it was two young ladies that came on stage. They own a company called BAM. It's called Black and Missing. And with this company, it's a nonprofit organization where they set up where they help find black kids that are missing, because so many families have found that cops and all do not recognize blacks as missing. They label them as runaways, and that's not always the case. They don't always run away. And so these two women, from their respective fields in the world, one was a cop at one time for several years, and one of she moved in rank pretty swiftly, so she had a very solid background in the law enforcement agency. And they talked about how they've given comfort to over 100 plus families, because they knew the right people to go to. They taught and coached families in how to fill out the police report and how to go forward in getting your loved ones found. So I'm gonna look up their website so that I can give it to you, but their organization is called BAM. It's Black and Missing. So, you know, they was also saying that as a black community, we sometimes want to not tell people or not get involved because it's not my business, it's not my child, but you never know, it could be your child. It could be your child. Another thing they brought out, because I am a parent of two, I have an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old, and God knows I would never want my children to come up missing, and if they did and you knew something, I want you to help me find my child. And they want parents to have a recent photo of their child. Nowadays it's kind of easy because we have Facebook and all that stuff, and we have the cell phones, and we can have a readily, handy picture, but have a picture available, a recent picture, because you're looking for a 12-year-old child and you have a 3-year-old picture. That's not going to do them any good. And that is one of the things that held the police up, because they saying you don't have all the documents needed to move forward in finding your loved ones. So, I'm going to Google the site, and I'm going to pass that along to you, because we all need to be aware that people are stealing kids, and it's not just whites. Okay, let's just get that real. Let's get it out there. It's no longer just one race. It's all races. And when they talked about human trafficking, that human trafficking is not just over, in other countries. It's right here in America. And one lady pointed out that Atlanta is the number 2 highest area of human trafficking. And so Judge Hatchett was there. She graced us with her presence, and she's a small little fireball. And what you see on TV, she really is a fireball, okay? She is off the chain. I love Judge Hatchett. Judge Hatchett has been one funny lady to me. But her biggest pet peeve was domestic violence. She talked about a young girl. She came down the steps of the courtroom, and it was a 6-year-old girl sitting there. And she went to make small talk with the baby, and she would never really respond to it. And then Judge Hatchett asked her, well, what do you want to be in life? And the little girl said, I want to be dead. She's 6. And Judge Hatchett said, no, don't say that. Don't say that. She said, no, I want to be dead. Because if I'm dead, I can go to heaven and be with mama. Because this 6-year-old child has seen her mother killed at the hands of her live-in boyfriend. So, just making women aware that you're not only the only one going through it, but there are some survivors. There are people that are there available to help you in issues that you have. We had 2 breast cancer survivors that went on stage and talked about, the fight of breast cancer, that, do your self-checkups. Go to the doctor regularly. And men also get breast cancer. So don't think it's just a gender-specific disease. It's both. So everyone just get checked and be aware. And I'll come back and talk about Make Time for Love to Play, which was awesome last night. And of course, I can't stop talking enough about Women That Are Loose. I will be talking about that, the duration of this show on today, because it was so awesome. It was so much to learn and to take place and to move forward on, that it was just amazing. So you've been listening to WSCT Worldwide Radio. I am the one and only Lady J. I'm here to encourage, to motivate, and empower you and release you to move forward in your everyday life. So be encouraged today, y'all. It's Lady J on the Sunday Morning Inspiration Show.